everyone, my name is Celeste. Welcome and thank you for being here. Today's class is going to be focused on our ankles and our knees. I have chosen these two areas of the body for today because I am very well aware of how little attention we pay to our ankles and our knees, yet how much we use them on a daily basis. So it doesn't matter if you're standing all day, if you're walking all day, if you're sat down all day, but keeping mobile and strong joints, it is always an amazing idea for the entire health of your entire body. So without talking any longer, let's get to it. All right, so before we begin, of course, feel free to bring any props that support your practice, such as blocks or straps or any resistant band. And today we're going to start standing up. So I invite you to choose a comfortable stance. You can either place your feet wider than hip width, or you could place them hip width. But I invite you to choose a width that will really make you feel safe and grounded, that you don't have to be really paying attention of perhaps being scared of falling. So it doesn't matter if this means that your legs are quite wide, go for it. And once you find your comfortable stance, I invite you to close your eyes if you wish to. If not, you might perhaps soften your gaze down or just keep your eyes open but a relaxed gaze. Let your hands rest beside you. And we're going to use these first few moments to arrive to our practice, to arrive to our space, to arrive to our body. And to begin with, we're going to do a bit of a scan of the body, and I invite you to just pay attention to the questions that I'm going to be going through. But I really want you to do this in a place of no judgment, right? I don't want you to judge the way you're standing or the things you feel, the sensations that come up to you. I just would like you to feel them, perceive them, study them, be curious. So we're going to start through our feet, the sole of our feet. And I want you to pay attention to the way your feet are resting on the floor. Do you feel perhaps your toes are wide and spread? Perhaps they are a little bit stiff and kind of close together. Again, no judgment, just observation. Feel the way the weight is distributed on your feet, on the sole of your feet. And I would like you to imagine a line, a vertical line through the middle of your body, starting at the crown of the head, going all the way down to the floor, crossing through your navel, the center of your chest. And I want you to take the attention again to your feet and your legs, and considering this imaginary line tracing the center of your body. Can you perceive the distance between the line and each foot? Perhaps you can feel that one leg is further away of the center of your line than the other. Perhaps you feel that it is very balanced and centered. I want you to also take your attention to the weight of your body. Perhaps it's towards one leg more than the other one. Again, please don't judge, don't modify, just observe. And then if we go up to our ankles, again, same idea. How do I feel? Do I feel the foot is perhaps a little bit melted towards the inner arch, and therefore the ankle is a little bit loose? And check the difference between side and side. And then we go up to the knees, and I want you to feel into how the knees are standing in space. Perhaps If you're slightly hypermobile on your knees, you might be hyperextending them. Perhaps you are bending the knees slightly. How does it feel? How do the outside edges of your knees feel? How do the inside edges of the knees feel? And as we go through, I want you to really picture, visualize your body in your mind as we go through. And then we're going to climb up with our senses to our hips. And again, feel the weight of your hips resting. And perceive if there's any difference between your left and your right side. And again, if we consider the midline, the imaginary line that we were tracing in the center of our body, can we perceive perhaps one of the hips is higher than the other? Perhaps it's more towards the front than the other hip. Perhaps we feel one heavier than the other one. Now we're going to place one hand on our chest and one hand on our belly. We're going to lift the 10 toes, lift them off the floor and place them down. We're going to micro bend the knees so we find a little bit of buoyancy on the knees and the hips. We're going to take a big releasing breath. Inhale through the nose. Feel your belly, your chest grow and relax, and we exhale with a slight contraction and we let the air out through the mouth. One more like this, inhale. And as we exhale, gently open the eyes. Amazing. Well done. And we're going to place our hands on our hips and we're going to, of course, give a little bit of sensory information. Amazing, and we wrap the hip space, the sides. Again, I'm really sorry I have my mic, so perhaps it interrupts the sound. We do little rolling fists, and we wrap them at the low back. If we can go higher on the spine, perhaps amazing. And then we place the hands on our hips at the back, and we slide them all the way down, and then we place them at the top of our feet, and we slide them up. All the way up to the hips. And again, down and up. One more time. And up. Now we're gonna tap our legs, tap our groin, tap the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, shins. Same with the other leg. Amazing. Now we're gonna spend a little bit of time on our ankles. So if you fancy doing this on your knees, go ahead and do it. If you want to do it standing, I just want you to keep your knees bent and hinge the hips so you are not kind of like straining anything. If not, come sit with me for a little bit. We're going to start with the left. And I want us to really pay attention to the ankle section today, right? The feet as well, but I really want us to kind of like take a feel of our ankles. So we're going to start by just very light touch, rubbing the ankle. We can feel these bony corners here. So we're going to rub on top of the bones and underneath, kind of like here where your feet meets the ankle, your foot meets the ankle. I have such a problem with feet and foot. Difficult words to remember. All right, rubbing. Again, you can also use your knuckles if you want. And then I want you to take a feel, right? Like press a little bit into the ankle, of course, keeping it painless. If it hurts, please don't. And perhaps we can trace the bony parts, the parts that we can feel the most. And at the back as well. Let's not forget about the back. Amazing. Then we change legs, we change feet, we change foot. And again, we wrap through the ankle. Remember these bony parts that we can feel here underneath and on top of them. Again, you can perhaps use your knuckles like little rollers. Amazing. And now again, let's just for 1 second palpate, right? Use the sense of touch. And I invite you to, as we go through and as we just like explore this, make a little drawing of what you're feeling in your mind, right? You're like, oh, look, there are these bones here. It feels like there's another big bone here that goes up the leg. Perhaps you can feel all the bony on the feet, on your toes, on the foot. I'm telling you today, it's not my words. Great. Amazing, well done. Now we're gonna come up to standing. And we're gonna lift the 10 toes. Remember to keep the knees slightly bent. Lift the 10 toes. And now we're gonna try to place them from the pinky toe towards the big toe, one by one. And if it doesn't look like at all one by one, like just happened to me, don't worry. The action also is incredible to learn. We're gonna lift them again and then start from the big toe. And then we're gonna lift the big toes, press them against the mat, and lift the other 4 toes. And change, we press 4 toes against the mat and lift the big toes. And then we press the toes, big toes, and lift the other 4. Amazing, well done. Find a little bit of buoyancy. Great. Now we're gonna drop the chin to the chest. Feel the back of the neck opening. Be very gentle. Actually, let's give a little bit of sensory to the back of our neck while we have our chin towards our chest. Just a little bit to make it easier for our brain to understand. Great. We release the arms. And we're going to imagine we have a really heavy ball in our forehead, inside the forehead. And the ball is going to start rolling towards the right. So because of that, the head starts to roll. We take right ear to right shoulder. And then the ball starts to roll towards the front again. And we feel the heaviness of the head. The ball continues towards the left ear to left shoulder. And again to center. Inhale right. Exhale center. Inhale left. Exhale, drop it down, and then lift the head back to center. I would like you to place your hand on your sternum here, like right in the middle of the chest, and keep a soft touch, right? And from here, we're gonna inhale and exhale, and we drop the head back very gently and feel how the skin of the chest is extending, right? Stretching. And then inhale and lift your head up, release the hands. Amazing, well done. All right, now we're gonna go to a tabletop straight away. So you make your way there as glamorous as you want. So we go into a tabletop. Remember, wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and just for a little moment, we are gonna warm up through the wrists. We won't be really using them that much, but just in case, you know, always good. So we take the weight towards the sides, we do like circles, we can change the position of the hands, and remember to keep breathing, keep a soft breath, in and out through your nose. Amazing, use the breath to help you, to guide you. Awesome, well done. Now let's come find a classic tabletop. We're just gonna do some cat-cows. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the head and drop your belly down. Exhale, and from the tailbone, we tuck it and we round the spine, vertebra per vertebra. Head hangs heavy. Arch, and then we inhale and lift the chest and arch the spine. Shoulders down and relax. And then we exhale and we round the spine and drop the head. Really push through the center of your scapula, through the center of your spine. And inhale and we come back to center. Great. Now we are gonna start taking the weight towards our left. And we're gonna bring this right knee a little bit closer to us. And we have the front of the right foot on the mat. So the idea here is we have this area, like the center of the foot. And I would like you to feel like you are pressing against the mat with this part of your foot, with the center part of the top of your foot. So again, we bring the right leg closer. We can already feel that the knee is off the floor. Remember to keep the spine nice and long, head is in line with the rest. And so we're gonna press against the mat with the top of the right foot. And then we're gonna bring heel to bum. And then we're gonna press again. Keep breathing, and then heel to bum. One more time, press again. And then heel to bum. Amazing. Now we're gonna tuck under the right toes. And we are gonna roll it all the way back. We're gonna start to feel at some point a little bit of tension on the ankle, on the calf. And then we're gonna roll towards the front. Again, we take the weight towards our hands and we roll the toes all the way up to being the top of the foot being on the mat. And then we roll, we tuck under the toes and we place the foot back. We take the weight towards our hips. And then we go back to the front and roll the toes and press against the mat. And then we roll them back all the way as far as you can go. One more time, roll them to the front, press against the mat with the top of the foot and then roll it back all the way up to where you start feeling a little bit of tension on the ankle and calf. And we come back to center. Widen your legs slightly and we're gonna go backwards and forward, tuck the tailbone, backwards and tuck the tailbone, trying to sit back on the heels and tuck the tailbone. One more time, sit back on your heels, tuck the tailbone. Amazing. Come back to tabletop and now we're gonna take the weight towards the right. Bring the left foot closer to our hands and again, so we press against the mat. 2, 3, and then heel to bum. 2, 3, and then we press against the mat. Be gentle, and if you have any cramps, please go slower. We press against the mat. And then heel to bum. Really squeeze it there. One more time. And then squeeze it towards your bum. And then we tuck under the left toes. And we take the weight towards our hips. And we roll it all the way up till we feel on the left ankle and calf a little bit of tension. And then we roll the sole of the foot over the toes. And then we press against with the top of our foot. And then we roll it back. Again. Really go through all the stages, right? Don't jump from here to here. Really feel the whole way and roll over your toes. And then we press against the mat. And come back. One last time, very gentle. We roll back. And then we come back to tabletop. Widen your legs again. You can, if you want, you can bring your feet together. If it feels a little bit achy on your hips, I would like you to try having your legs kind of like parallel to the mat. And then we sit back, feel on the hips. And then we come back and we tuck under the tailbone, so we're gonna engage the glutes. And then we sit back. You've got this, you're doing great. Come back and tuck the tailbone. Back. One more time, tuck the tailbone in, engage the glutes. And then we're gonna exhale and drop it to a wide leg child's pose for a breath or two. And then little by little, we're gonna roll the spine all the way up. Great. Now, let's place the hands near the top of the mat and let's start with the right. Bring the right leg between your hands for a low lunge. If you have any niggles on your knees, remember that there's always an option to either fold your mat or have a blanket, anything that you feel can pad a little bit your knee. If not, all good, no problem. And the idea here is we're gonna supinate and pronate the ankle, right? We're gonna go through this movement. Now, I don't want this to be a hip movement. I really want you to focus on, remember these two bones that we were talking about, on the under part of them too, right? I really want them to feel like you would be trying to touch the ground with that bone when we go to the outside and touch the ground with that bone when we go towards the inside. So we're gonna do first, I want you to really explore this. I'm not gonna guide the amount of times that you have to do it. I want you to really feel it, roll the sole towards the outside and the inside. And now we're gonna add something. When we roll it towards the inside, we're gonna twist the torso towards the right. And then we come back to center. Knee opens to the, ankle opens to the outside and comes back. To the inside, we rotate. We come back. Ankle to the outside, ankle to the inside. And we twist. Remember to keep breathing. Perhaps your right leg is also working a lot right now. Amazing, well done. Now from here, very strong through the back leg. Engage those glutes and hover the back knee. And on the count of 1, 2, 3, we kick up to standing, knee to chest. Great, well done. And from here, we're gonna step the left leg behind us, not too far from us. I'm gonna just wiggle a little bit backwards so you can fully see the exercise. Now here we're gonna keep a soft lunge. It's not gonna be a deep lunge. It's just a soft one, right? The back leg can be, maybe you can place the whole foot on the floor. If you want to have the heel up, all good. And now we're gonna do knee circles. So I'm gonna show it to the front so we see it. The idea is that we do not put too much weight on the front leg, it's slightly to the center. And we are gonna, without moving the foot, we are gonna create these circles with the knees. And I really want you to very carefully take your knee to the fullest range of motion. Remember, your knees don't really like to do that many movements, but keeping them active and strong in all its range of motion, and then towards the other side. It's a great idea because then any moment that you really need your knees to work, be active and fire up when they have to, they're gonna be ready for it. Amazing. And we finish more or less 3 circles to each side. We are just gonna change the position of the front leg to externally rotate it. So I'll show you again. And we do the same. Be mindful and feel what is the sensation that you have on the hip while we do this, to the inside and then to the outside. Remember to keep breathing in and out through the nose. Great, and now we're gonna change it to internal rotation. So the toes towards the inside, towards the center of the body. And again, we're gonna bend. Try not to lift your feet. See there? Try not to lift your foot from off the floor. To the other side. Amazing. Once you finish the third one, we're gonna put the weight on the right. Come to standing on the right leg. And we're gonna do an imaginary clock on the floor, which will have 8 directions. Front, 2 diagonals, 2 sides, 2 diagonals to the back, and straight to the back. And the idea is that we're gonna use our left leg as if it was the ticks of a clock. So we are gonna bend the right knee and try to touch number 12. Come back to center, and then we go to the diagonal, come back to center, we go to the side, come back to center, diagonal at the back, come back to center, straight back, come back to center, straight diagonally to the right. It's gonna be across the body. Come back to center, across towards the front and right. Come back to center, and from here we're gonna place this left leg, cross it behind the right leg, and we're gonna place the left foot on the outer edge of the foot, right? So it's gonna be a little bit supinated like this. And from here we're gonna inhale and lengthen, and exhale and hinge of the hips and fold forward. Try not to bend the knees. You could use blocks here to support this fold, and really pay attention to my back leg. So my left leg is pronated, or again supinated, and we fold. Remember, this should create a little bit of sensation but nothing of pain. So if you need to ease it back up, go for it. If you need to perhaps not supinate the foot so much, you choose. Amazing. And from here, we inhale, lengthen the torso, lift it up, and place the left foot next to the right. Both are parallel to each other. Inhale and lengthen, exhale and fold. Place both your hands on the mat and step your feet back to plank. Inhale here and exhale, bend the knees. Bend the elbows towards the back. Drop your chest all the way down to the floor. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and inhale and lift the chest. Lift the head slightly. Engage the glutes. Exhale, tuck under the back toes and lift your hips up for a downward facing dog. We can pedal out a little bit this down dog. Great. And now we're gonna inhale here. Exhale and drop it down to the knees, and place the left foot now between the hands for a low lunge. First, check that your low lunge is stable, is comfortable. And again, we're gonna start with this supination, pronation of the ankle. Remember, it's not the knee, it's the ankle. Of course, the knee is gonna go with it a little bit. And now, when we bring it towards the inner arch, we twist towards the left. We bring back to center, supinate, pronate, inhale and twist. Come back to center, supinate. Come back to center, pronate and twist. One more to the outside, and then we twist. Well done. We come back to center. Tuck under the back toes. Hover the back knee off the floor. And in a 1, 2, and 3, we kick up to standing knee to chest. Well done. I am just going to go backwards slightly so you can see well. And now we're going to place this right foot behind us in a very short lunge. Remember to keep soft knee at the back because it's not really the one we're working on today. It's more the front knee. So foot is toes are towards the front, and we start with the knee. So we take it back to its full range of motion, and I really want you to imagine how controlled, slow, and strong these circles are. Once you do about 3, we go towards the other side. Remember to keep the front foot on the floor. And if it shakes, then that is amazing. That means that we need this. That our brain is not very clear on what we're doing. Perfect. Now we externally rotate the foot. So toes pointing towards the outside. And again, we create these circles. At some point, the knee is going to kind of lock at the back. But remember to be really mindful of not... Look, you can see, look, my knee is very clear. I'm super hypermobile. Like I could really go really deep. But I am trying to keep it up to a point that it is a big range of motion, but I'm still able to control it. I don't want it to go all loose to the other side. And then we internally rotate the leg. And again, we go circles. You can add this to any training and to the other side. You could add a resistance band if you wish for a little bit of challenge. Amazing. Now bring this front foot parallel. And then we're gonna find a little bit of momentum and stand on our left leg. And we're gonna do this imaginary clock again. So bend the left leg and kick towards the front, up, and kick to the diagonal right, kick to the side right, kick diagonal back, come up, kick straight back, come up, cross the leg behind, kick to the left, cross the leg in front and kick to the left, to the diagonal across, and then we bring it back to center and we place this right leg behind the left. And again, we supinate the foot. Hopefully I am not mixing all the supinations and pronations up. And so we place the right foot on the outside edge of the foot. We're gonna inhale and lengthen, create space, and exhale, hinge of the hips and fold. Remember to use the blocks if you want to perhaps ease it up a notch. If not, you fold until you want to, until you feel a slight sensation running through the outside of your right leg all the way up to your knees. Perhaps you can feel it a bit. And your hips. Inhale and exhale. Remember to keep a soft head. Let it loose. Release your jaw if you're creating any tension. And then inhale and lengthen. Place the tip of your fingers perhaps on the blocks. Lengthen the spine slightly. Uncross the legs. Create space. Grow through your tailbone. You grow back, and through the crown of your head you grow towards the front. Lengthen the spine. Inhale, big inhale, and exhale, and we fold. Place both hands on the mat and step your feet back to a plank. Inhale here, and exhale, vinyasa, either cobra or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Amazing team, you're doing great. From here, inhale and lift your heels up. Exhale and bend the knees. Look towards the front of the mat. And we're gonna give step, step, little steps without bending the elbows. Compress, compress, compress. And when you don't want anymore, just sit back on your bum. And now we're gonna start crossing the left leg under, the right leg on top. So we're gonna do shoelace. I'm gonna show it to the front. So both knees are stuck over each other. If this is like, no way, Cele, this is not happening, perhaps you can do it more like a box. So you're gonna place the right knee, on this case, the right ankle on top of the left knee. And perhaps from here you can fold. If this is uncomfortable and your knee is like hovering here, you can stack as many props as you wish. So whichever option you choose. We're gonna inhale and really lengthen the spine, and exhale and we fold very gently. If you wish, you can release your head. Feel the right leg stretching, the IT band, the outside of the upper leg, your glutes. And breathe. Now it's time to cool down, so lengthen your breath. Keep it soft and smooth, and then we walk our hands back to center. A little bit of challenge. From here, we're gonna place our hands towards the left, and then we are gonna put a little bit of weight on our hands, and we're gonna unravel and re-ravel these shoelace. So we're gonna lift the hips up and walk our hands towards the left, towards the left, towards the left, and continue without lifting the feet off the floor. And then you will see that if you continue twisting, you will end up cross-leg on the other side. If this was too much and you're like, no, thank you very much, but I don't want to do that, then just uncross and cross again the legs. Remember the options that I gave before to make this pose a little bit more comfortable. And then we inhale and create space. Lengthen the spine and exhale and fold very gently over both legs. You can drop your head. If you are not even close to your legs and you're here, then embrace the shape, embrace the sensations. Feel into the pose. With each exhale, giving a little bit more. Surrender to the feelings, the sensations that bring into your body, into your physical or emotional body. And then very gently, we walk our hands back to standing. Amazing. Unravel the legs. Come to sit on the mat. Stand your feet. Your knees are towards the sky. Take your arms out long in front of you, and then very gently, little by little, we're going to roll the spine all the way down to the mat. Window wide those legs. Great. And now bring the knees to the chest. Take your arms into a cactus or a T shape. And then inhale here and exhale. Drop the knees towards the left. And roll your head towards the right. Keep your shoulder blades on the mat, resting and heavy. Feel the way the breath flows when we are on a twisted position. And lengthen the breath. Big inhales through the nose. Big exhales through the nose as well. Come back to center on an exhale. Inhale here and exhale. Drop the knees towards the right and drop your head towards the left. You can close your eyes, of course, if you wish to. Remember to keep both your shoulder blades grounding on the floor, on the mat. Feel your spine spiraled on the floor, perhaps one part on the air. And then inhale and exhale, come back to center. Bring your knees to the chest, hug yourself. And then we're going to bring our hands to the back of our knees and give this little rolling, rock and rollies front and back. And find enough momentum to sit back. And once you are there, of course, if you wish to take a Shavasana, anything that you would like to, I invite you to stay there, do all the movements or no movements that you wish. If not, we meet in a comfortable seated position. We place one hand on top of each other at the heart center. Let's take a few moments to be grateful for whatever our bodies could or could not do, just for being present in the mat. Remember to not judge the practice, rather allow the practice to go through you. And take whatever you need to take and let go of whatever you need to let go of. And we're going to finish with a big releasing breath. So we inhale through the nose. And exhale and sigh it out. Palms together.